Okay.
Hi, guys. Welcome back with Big Al. This Monday, November 6th, we're going to get into it with NBA, even though it is the opening day of college basketball, and we actually have Monday Night Football. This is when we get into what we call crossover world. The volume can be amusing or debilitating depending on which side of the analysis you're on. I know, Al, for you, this is when you, even though you don't sleep, now I don't know when you're ever going to sleep with college basketball and NBA simultaneously.
Yeah, I'll probably start to sleep in April.
Unbelievable. So I'm going to ask you before we get into today's complimentary selection. I get a lot of the same base questions from clients for the last 35 years, and they always say, "What's easier? What's easier, NBA or college basketball?" So I want to let you, a technician with computer metrics, answer: is there something an easier, or is this a fantasy land thing to justify when they don't win in whatever they're doing?
I personally think college basketball is easier. I think when you've got over 350 teams, you just have more opportunities. So it's more of a numbers game than anything else. So I would go with college basketball being the easiest. I, I I could even, I mean, just with how my college basketball has been running lately, I would even make the argument it's probably the easiest of all the leagues.
So let me ask you this: you posted two plays on Sunday, yesterday for today's video on Monday in the Telegram channel in college basketball. A lot of clients were reaching out to me saying, "I don't see the games. I don't see the games." You saw the message that I posted. So explain to the viewers before we get into the NBA stuff. What is the difference between an added game, an extra game, or an extra event? Because all the sports books have them rated. And
Sure.
how do you know when you log in? And I understand from the rotation number, i.e., the Don Best screen, the 3-digit is the regular rotation, and then you get another 5-digit, a 6-digit, which is the added games, extra game. But why that even exists?
Yeah, I mean, it's really anachronistic when you think about it. It's goes back years and years and years. There have always been certain conferences that are not on the regular board. So think Southwestern Athletic Conference, Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, um, conferences like that. Over the years, some conferences have moved up and become regular rotation conferences,
Mhm.
like, for example, the Summit League, right? So, but there are still some conferences that are not on the regular rotation. So a lot of times, some sports books, not all, but some sports books will wait until the morning to put the lines on those games.
Right.
Other sports books like Bet Online, DraftKings, and I can go down the list, will have lines on these games all the time. But
Got it.
then, so if a customer doesn't have access to those games overnight, they really should switch sports books.
Right.
Go with
Exactly.
DraftKings. I suggest join DraftKings. Everyone can get an account with DraftKings.
There you go. So,
Or
guys,
if you're in a state that hasn't legalized it yet, join. You can join Bet Online. You can join uh, Bet 365. There are two good options for you.
got it. All right, well, let's get into today's not college selection. We already have two college plays posted. If you want to get access to Big Al's service, send me a text, Big Al 775-636-7676. Again, we've discussed it. We're going to mention it in every video. You expect to make at least a couple $1,000 purchase just on our minimum offering. So that, again, we have multi-month discounts, monthly discounts, packages. If the longer term you go, this is not for everybody. So again, we appreciate all the love. We know you can go directly to pickdogs.com and get all Big Al selections online unrated. But again, this is an offering designed for a larger player that is not worried, not trying to only make. I guess the best way I could say it, Al, is the unit betting system is you're not trying to only make the money on a win-loss percentage. There is opportunities where you could have a losing day, but actually make money because the big plays win. And
Or,
so
or, 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 or you have a winning day. You just have a bigger winning day. That's the more
or you
likely
have a big
scenario.
winning day and you have a bigger winning day. So exactly. So let's get into it. What's today's complimentary NBA selection?
Well, we'll look to stay red hot. Yesterday on the premium side, we were 3-0 in the NBA. We're off to an 18-9 start, 67%. So it's been a great NBA start to the season. For our free play here, we're going to take a look at the Denver New Orleans game. The Nuggets are 6-1 on the season. They come into this game off back-to-back blowout wins over Dallas and Chicago. They beat the Mavericks by 11, and then they went out and crushed Chicago by 22 on Saturday. But unfortunately for the Nuggets, they really don't like success like this, as Denver is 2-20 with one push. ATS off back-to-back Suats wins by more than 10 points. So we're going to take the Pelicans plus a 6.5 on Monday night.
Pelicans plus 6.5. And as we discussed before we started this video, to wrap it up, you had Memphis last night as one of your plays. I think they were down by 10 with 5 minutes left, and we were discussing it. Guys, if you're watching these NBA games and people are texting me, it looks like they're going to go down. And then what did you say? They went on like a 20-8 run or something?
No. Like 28-2.
28-2 run. NBA is insane. If you want to keep your head right and you want to keep your heart right, our recommendation is don't even watch the games. I mean,
why watch it? I mean, it just depends on how you're.
Or just understand that it's not like football. You can't just bank the W or cash the L while you're watching.
Football has very few scoring events,
right?
Relatively speaking, the NBA has 100 scoring events. So the
let me ask you,
are more wild.
Let me ask you, and then we'll wrap this up and get on to it. You've been doing this 45 years. I've been doing this 35 years. You remember the world of every total was 160, 180.
Huh. Yeah.
What happened?
But I also remember the world of the Denver Nuggets and Paul Westhead, where their totals were 350.
Right.
So I remember both.
But I mean, as a basketball fan that you are, it is amazing how these lines have just got totally inflated, like decade after decade, just starting in the 150s, 160s, 35 years ago. Now it's like everything's like 220.
Yeah. And actually, maybe 350 was a bit high. I think
right.
Paul Westhead and the Denver Nuggets, I think they had one total. I remember that was 301.
Amazing.
Something crazy, where they were averaging. I mean, maybe it was even higher than 301. But it's. I like the old days. I like the old New York Knicks versus Chicago Bulls in the 90s, where the final score would be like 90 to
exactly
or something.
Exactly. Like that. So, like I said, we're going to wrap it up here with Monday's complimentary NBA selection, college basketball in full force. Let's rock and roll. If you're a larger player and you want to get access to the ratings of Big Al, send me a text saying Big Al at 775-636-7676. What were you going to say?
I would say, I actually just looked it up. The highest total on record was the Paul Westhead game, Denver versus Golden State, 310. And for those curious, it went over the total. Final score, 162-158.
Little bit of trivia, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. Good day and good luck.